Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever it is where you are, and welcome back to another episode on the Annoy Dad channel. Today is the video you have all been waiting for. It is part two of the Will It Start on the B275 International Harvester. Can we get it going? Now, this video is going to be slightly different than the videos that I normally do, because I filmed everything that I did. I went all the way through it, and I've done this, and I tinkered with that, and I did something else. And then I put it all into the computer and there was no audio at all. So it's all just pictures. So you might have spotted a couple of little things already straight away and you've gone, what's that? That's different from last time. So what we're going to do is we're going to cut back over to me in the editing suite. And I'm just basically going to talk over what I have done to try to get things going and try to get it going. And then keep watching until the very, very end. So all the way to the end. Keep watching all the way through. And when we get to the end, I'll show you something.
Okay, so this is me in the editing suite, and let's look at what we done last time. So the last time we got the fuel to come out of the fuel tank because it was stuck in there. It'd been left in there for so long that the fuel had solidified and it wasn't coming through to the filter and the injector pump, which is what you can basically see down there in front of you. So once we've made sure that we got the fuel coming through, we then need to use the lift pump to be able to pump the fuel into the injector. So that's where it comes through into the settling bowl, and then it comes down to this lift pump. But oh no, we got a slight issue. I started using the lift pump and it started leaking. And you can see that's not very good because that's not going to hold any pressure at all. That's not going to move any fuel. So it needs changing. Luckily, I was given a link by a person on the Facebook group for the International Harvesters, and they said that they had one reconditioned and it come back with this one that's in my hand. So I spent, I think it was £35 on it. That was the cheapest I could find it for on eBay. And look at this, as quick as a flash. It was almost as quick as I had to actually fit it. It was very easily done. So that is now fitted and in place. There's the old one. That's probably an original one. I think this is a 54 or something like that. So it's been there for quite some time. And with it in place, we would now be able to pump the fuel. So to make sure we got fuel going through, I'm just going to undo the bleed valve at the top of the fuel filter there. Make sure we got the fuel turned on. So as it's coming through. And in the book, it basically says when you run out of fuel to undo the bleed valve at the top of the fuel filter and to pump your fuel through. So this pump is slightly funky. You unscrew it and it comes up on the spring and then you pump it and you can see there we go. Instantly we got fuel coming out of the fuel filter. So let's give that a tighten up. And there we go. Get it all tightened back up so as we know we got fuel there. I will just apologise, this is me in the editing suite. It is at home and there are noises that happen in the background, so just ignore them. So what you can see there is the 4 pipes that come out of the injector pump and they go into the injectors. So the fuel, it basically goes through the fuel filter, around them, and this bit here is the return. So any excess fuel, it goes back into the fuel tank so as it can still be used and used again. So I'm just making sure that we've got fuel up to that point, that all of the air is out of it. And we just pump the pump and there we go. So we know we've got fuel all the way up to the return line, and that return line goes back to the fuel tank, as I just said. So we know it's up there at the top. And the only bit that's left to sort out now is going to be the fuel injectors themselves, just to make sure. But unfortunately, that wasn't as easy as what we thought it was going to be. So here we go, we're just having a brief look at it. This is where I actually cut some out because I tried to start it and it just wouldn't run. So you can see there I'm squirting in some of the easy start. I don't like using that, but on an engine that has been sat for at least 5 years at least, I reckon it's been sat for about 10, 12, 15 years, something like that. And you can see it is going on the easy start, but it is running on easy start. It's not running on diesel, which isn't what we really want it to be doing. We want it to run on the diesel, and normally you would use the easy start just to start to get that diesel flowing through So as you know, it's coming up to your injectors, and then the diesel would basically then take over. It just gets rid of any air out of the system. But you can see there I'm squirting in. I don't like doing it, but the engine was just running on that. That means we've got further fuel issues that we need to go to sort out. So let's put that down and let's start taking a look. So the only place left, as I just said, is going to be the fuel injectors, just to see what is going on there and why we're not getting fuel being squirted up to the injectors. And there I am just explaining it all, and I believe I explained it incredibly well that day. So what we'll do now is we will take the front off of, no we won't, we'll undo the 4 pipes at the top of the fuel injector pump, and we'll take a look. So there you go, you can see the 4 pipes have all been undone there. And what you would expect, you would expect in the top of them for there to be a small amount of liquid. So if we say number 1 is on the left, and then we've got 2, 3, 4, and 4 being on the right. If you look closely, you can see that there is no fluid in number 1. There's fluid in 2, 3, and 4. So that gives us our first sign that there is a problem there. And you can see me making very silly hand gestures there. So what I'm basically explaining is that the fuel comes out of those in the order that the engine is going to fire. So it might be 2, 4, 1, 3, and it will just give a little squirt of fuel, just enough to be able to do the compression within the engine to force down the piston. So it isn't a always stream, always coming out. It comes through in little squirts and dabs. And in a second, I will turn over the engine, and if you look at number 2, you'll be able to see that when that happens. But there's a closer look to explain that you can see fluid in 2, 3, and 4, but there's nothing in number 1. So that highlights that there is an issue somewhere within that pump that the fuel isn't actually getting through. And keep your eyes on number 2, because I believe I'm just about to hit the start button. There you go. And you can see it comes through. But it's not a constant stream. It's a boom, boom, boom. And that would go with the timing of the engine, as I just explained. But what you can also see there is that it's only coming out of number 2. You would expect it to be coming out of all of them, because obviously you need more than 1 cylinder for the engine to be able to run. It needs ideally all of them, but I have known them to go on 3. So I've whipped the front off this one, and I've already had a look at it prior to recording this bit, because I had to ask for some help and advice. Now basically what you've got is at the top there, just below where my finger is and where those 2 little tabs are, that's where fuel is stored in like a reservoir. And the springs that you can see underneath in that bit that I've opened up, they're going to go upwards and compress, and as they go upward they force up a piston, which is what squirts that fuel up, as I was just explaining. On the bottom row underneath of the springs is a cam that will act, and it will push up a piston, and it will go in the order that the engine's due to go in. Now unfortunately the cam's underneath, well I'm just lifting up there, you can see that lifting up. Number 2 was working fine, but the others had all become seized up. Not only did they become seized up on the bottom, but they'd also become seized up on the top as well. So they were not moving at all. And in a second, I'm going to run the engine, and you'll be able to see that 1, 2, and 3, in this example here, are actually working. But number 4, I'm going to do on camera in just a minute's time. So yeah, there we go. I'm just explaining again that those cams will come up in order, and it's those that causes that fuel that we just saw coming out the top of number 2 to actually come out of the others. There you go. So you can see 1, 2, and 3 are working. Number 4 wasn't working just then. So we've still got an issue with number 4. And you can see the top of the cam there. It's just that round bit just underneath my screwdriver. And you can see I'm pressing down on it, and it just is not moving. It is in there absolutely solid. So I presume that this engine had been left for a number of years, because that takes a long, long time for that sort of thing to happen. It isn't anything that happens just overnight. So in just a second, we'll change the camera angle, and there we go. So I haven't done anything since the last one, and you can see me put the screwdriver in, and now I hit it with a hammer, and you can see that cam go down, and I get the screwdriver in there and give it a good old lift. Oh, there we go. That got it back up. There is oil in there. I have squirted a load of oil in there. And that is just basically getting down the sides of that cam now and just trying to free it up. So we're still having to use the hammer. You're able to see by the judder of me going down. But like a squeaky door hinge, once you've oiled it up, the more you start moving it, the more it's going to work and the better it's going to be. So you can see there now, that's coming up a lot easier. I don't think on the next one that I need the hammer. I just push it down. Yeah, there we go. So that is really becoming free. But you're able to see how that is like a separate part to the spring at the top. So the spring's staying in. There you go, there's my screwdriver in there, proving that there's a gap in between the two. But that spring ought to come down because that spring actually has to push that cam back down after it's come up. So we'll get in there. You have to be very careful with this because there's a cap on the bottom of these and you don't want that to come off because then it's a nightmare to get it back on again. Luckily, I don't know from experience of doing these ones. So again, we'll get in there, but the piston that's in the middle of that spring is again in solid and bosh, there it goes. So that's being pushed down. So then we get in there with some of the, no, we're getting in there with the screwdriver again, just to try to push it back up. And yeah, you can see, so the cam goes back down, the spring should really come down with it. It's not. So we'll get in there, give it another push back down, and now we'll get in there with some of the magic moving juice. Squirt that in there. If it's meant to move, you use WD-40. If it's not meant to move, you use a bit of duct tape. And that's the great thing with these old vehicles, is that that just applies basically everywhere. So again, what we'll do is we'll move it up and down a couple of times, and you can see, so the first time, that spring moved down a little bit, didn't it? It didn't exactly push it down very far. Oh, look at that. That spring's actually pushing it down now. So we get in there, and a couple more, and we should be there, and it'll be just like new. You see, look at that. The spring is pushing it straight back down again. That's how it should be working. This is what we had with number 1, 3, and 4. So there we go. Nicely oiled up, as good as new, ready to go. So that is fantastic. That is what was causing our issues, and that was what was stopping the fuel from going round. And you can see there's a small amount of fuel in the top there. That's just from where we're doing this, because there's going to be a small amount on the top rail there, just in behind those tags. And there we go. Bosh. It's doing it, and it's doing it in order. I don't know if you was able to see the order there. It wasn't running quick enough. I do believe it's 2413, but I can't be exactly 100% sure. Now, for those of you who are looking at this and are thinking that's not the same as what's on my International Harvester B275, it's because this is a very early model of the B275, and it had the this pump installed on it at that time. So what I done after that was I undone the bolts that you're able to see there that go into the fuel injectors, and I just made sure that there was fuel going to each one of those. So I just basically undid it and turned on the engine, ran it over just a couple of times as if we were going to start it, just to make sure that fuel was coming out and we're getting fuel up to the fuel injectors. So there we go, CAV inline pump. These are on the very early B275s. They quickly moved away from using these ones, and they used a different type of pump on them after this.
See, look at that there, eh? Ain't it good? So we've done all of that, and we've got it all sorted. So the fuel is now up at the injectors. We've freed up all of the stuff, and stuff actually starts to move. So you may remember in one of the earlier videos, this piece here, which kills the engine once you're done, it only moved like that much, wasn't it? It was like a little tiny bit. But now that stuff has been moved and stuff has been freed up, see, look at that, it moves a huge amount. And apparently, so I'm told on one of the forums, if you pull it out, so as it sticks out like that, so it's stuck out a little bit, that's putting it into cold start mode, apparently. I never knew that. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to rig you up, hopefully the sound's going to work, and we are going to start it. Hey, you wouldn't have thought you'd hear me say that before. But we're not going to start it, see, put the terminals on. We're not going to run it for very long, for the simple fact that I will run around and I will briefly show you things. Once it's started, we'll quickly whiz around it and I will show you things that mean that we're not going to run it for very, very long. Right, so let's get you rigged up. Well, let's put you up here, I suppose. And then you can see it starting. There you go, I just adjusted the throttle and boom, she went, but that's fine. So yeah, as you saw there, it does run. We have got a few little bits and issues to sort out on her, as we just explained. So what have we got to sort out? Well, let's start with, I'm just turning off the fuel thingy. There we go, so that's now turned off. So we got a little bit of seepage of fuel around here. So it may well be that the injector pump needs to be taken apart and rebuilt, because obviously that time of all being seized up for so long, whatever's in there that acts as a seal, that might have worn away, so that might need to be rebuilt. But you're able to get rebuild kits for them for about 20 quid, so I'm not too fussed with that. And then if we jump around here, as I just pointed out, you would have seen the hydraulic pump, which is this thing here. That's got a leak. I presume this is on the exit from it. So I'm guessing what happens is there's the hydraulic fluid down here, and that then comes up to the pump, which is connected to the engine, and then it goes out the pump and it comes back, and that's what does all of your PTO at the back and all of your other bits and pieces that you want to do. So that's got a leak on it, so that needs investigating. Now the most important thing you would have seen there is that the fan didn't move at all. So the fan has got a fan belt, that just there, and that comes off of the engine. That was moving, but the fan itself is totally seized up. And you can see there's another little track there for a bout that comes up to the dynamo, and that's its bout there, but it's old and decrepit and it's no good. So it needs 2 new bouts, which is fine, that's not a problem. But the fan is connected to the water pump that pumps water around the engine to keep everything cool, and it is totally seized. Like everything else on this vehicle, it's all seized up. So I need to take that off very carefully and have a look to see what's going on there. Plus, one thing, you can't really see it today. Oh, you can see it. There we go. There's a little leak which is coming out of the radiator in there somewhere. So we need to look at that. There's also this, which is I believe it's a breather hose of some description that seems to be emitting some sort of fluid, and I don't think it should be doing that. So I need to sort out all of these little things, get them all done, and then once we're done with that, then I can start to think about actually trying to move it. I don't want to start to move it whilst we got no water flowing around it, because we need to get the water flowing to be able to cool the engine so as it can move. But it starts and it runs, and that is the most important thing. That is what I wanted to check to make sure that it did, and it does. So there we go. Absolutely over the moon with this. Stay tuned, because there are going to be other videos that I'm going to do on there, other stuff, other bits and pieces. So please do hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. Until the next time, thank you so much for watching. And if you have any questions, comments, whatever, leave them down below and I'll try to respond. Until the next video, bye bye.